Good morning. Over the last 3 months, I have stood at this podium and described the actions we have taken to protect the life, health, and safety of our residents as we face a global health pandemic. Yet, as it has been described many times recently, for centuries, we are and have been suffering from another pandemic, one of racism and injustice. Our actions thus far have not been enough. And so I stand here today with the Frederick Police Department to acknowledge that we must talk and listen, and we must do better as a community and a nation. Along with our brothers and sisters in communities across this country, the city of Frederick is in mourning. We are dismayed and angered by the wanton disregard for human life seen in the recent deaths of so many people of color, including George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. 3 of too many names we could list. We join those in our community calling for justice and a rebalancing of the scales in a system that for hundreds of years in America has been designed to work against minorities, the poor, the marginalized, and the vulnerable. This Friday, members of our community will be using their voices and footsteps to continue calls for justice. I stand with you in your peaceful demonstration of frustration, exhaustion, and hope that this will be the final decree of enough is enough. But even after this Friday, we must continue these discussions with endurance, because this work does not end. My administration is ready to provide any information necessary to reassure our community of our commitment to this cause. The City of Frederick, with the Frederick Police Department, has been and will continue to be committed to the transparency of investigations and discipline, hiring of a more diverse workforce, and the use of ever-evolving training and tactics to ensure the protection of community members and law enforcement officers. For us to live up to the noble ideals of our founders, ideals not yet achieved, we must come together now, work together now, live together now, and love one another together now. And now is today. I'd like to invite Chief Grossman to share some remarks.
Thank you, Mayor O'Connor. The appalling death of George Floyd is deeply disturbing for all communities, and I join our community, elected officials, and numerous chiefs of police across the nation with strongly denouncing the actions of the officers and the callous disregard for human life displayed on that fateful day. The actions of those officers are not consistent with instituted training standards or procedures. In addition, this incident and others similar continue to destroy the fabric that binds us as one community. It is extremely disheartening for all of us who have worked to overcome the generational mistrust between communities of color and law enforcement, only to have it stripped away through the careless actions of few. The foundation of procedural justice begins with treating all individuals with dignity and respect. There is no excuse or rationalization. We as a profession must do more, and we must do better. Transparency is the cornerstone of legitimacy and credibility. The Frederick Police Department remains committed to our community and vows to continue transparency and faithful partnership. We recognize we have much work to do to repair and overcome the generational mistrust of law enforcement, and this work involves open conversations and deliberate actions. The men and women of the Frederick Police Department are dedicated to public service and are entrusted to uphold the values of our community and our profession. These values incorporate the words fairness, dignity, respect, and impartiality. These are the foundation of the Frederick Police Department. We as a community will persevere through these difficult times and continue to progress forward through transparent and honest conversations, confronting our past while building a better future. Mayor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chief. As the Chief and I have stated and have shared today, our hearts hurt, and we know our community is hurting too. The centuries of pain are rising to the surface, and in some communities have resulted in destruction. As the demonstrations continue to form for Friday, know that the city is here to support the peaceful efforts of our community members. We will be standing with you, and we want to continue the hard, tough work of removing racism, marginalization, and violence. I know Frederick is a place that can show the nation that we can do this work together as one community. Thank you. We're happy to take any questions from the media that is present today.
This week?
Well, at the moment, we're watching the social media very carefully to track what has been discussed. It's our understanding that one is being planned. A couple of different times have been put out there, but I'll let the police department address a little bit more the overall efforts that we're going to make. We're looking at what's coming on Friday, but we know that we have to be prepared because something could happen at any time, and we have to be ready for that.
What is the role of the city government here when there are, of course, on social media, residents here who are expressing a series of beliefs in response to what's happened across the country? What is really the role of city government in times like this when you guys understand that there are residents who are very unhappy with what they're seeing in the country and are prepared to conduct a protest like this?
Well, these are First Amendment protected events, and our responsibility as a city is to assure that anyone who comes into our community is protected, is treated with dignity, is treated with respect, has the opportunity to express their opinions. And that's the effort we'll take as a city, working with the police department to make sure that anything that happens in downtown Frederick is done with the safety, the life safety and health of our residents and our community in mind.
Will you be attending any of these organized protests or any other Board of Aldermen members prepared to be there in person?
Well, I can't speak for the Board of Aldermen. We have reached out to the organizers of these events, and it is our intention to meet with them in advance of their activities. We're willing to provide whatever support they believe is helpful so that they can achieve what they want to achieve. And I believe that's about being heard and being seen, truly being heard and being seen.
Hi. I guess for the chief, is the department coordinating with groups that are planning these protests, or are you involved in that process at all?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you restate the question?
Is the department involved with the groups in working or coordinating with the groups that are planning these protests and these events to kind of get ahead of what's happening?
Yes, the police department is working closely with the Office of the Mayor to reach out to the organizers for the First Amendment protected event, and again, in order to ensure a safe expression of their First Amendment rights.
And I guess everyone has seen the video of what happened in Minneapolis. Have you discussed with your officers as a training technique or in any way kind of what's happening on that video and kind of your feelings about it that you expressed here?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we have discussed it as a department. Our tactical instructors, again, we have been hitting roll calls, actually speaking to officers. And to the case in point of the actions that were observed on the video in Minneapolis, I would just like to point out is a direct violation and contradicting to our existing general order on our general order use of force, general order 705, which can be found on our website. But yes, absolutely, there are, whenever we have incidents such as this, such as bringing up to national prominence, and even others that are not so prominent in the media, we do review these incidents and compare them against our policies, procedures, our training and standards to ensure, once again, that our officers are the highest trained, best equipped, and the most knowledgeable and informed as possible.
Chief, are there permits involved in these activities? Are these groups seeking permits to gather?
At this time, there are no permits being sought at this time because, again, according to not only the local or municipality executive order and along with the state executive orders, parades, permits, and things like that aren't necessarily going to be allowed to be permitted. However, a delicate balance has to be maintained between the permitting process for a parade and the safe expression of First Amendment liberties. So with these types of events that come up, it is our job to ensure the safe expression of their grievances towards government or their expression of First Amendment liberties to make sure that it is done in the absolute utmost and safest manner as possible.
So in the absence of a permit, you will not try to prevent these gatherings?
That's correct.
What role will police take on Friday? How many police officers will be at this protest? Will there be any officers out there? Will there be some in plainclothes, some uniformed officers? What is really the game plan for you guys during this protest on Friday?
Well, I really can't get into the full game plan as far as how many officers are going to be participating and things like that. However, I will tell you I will be out there with the protesters. And again, protesters, the demonstrators, to participate with them as well as other officers to show our support. Because again, we view the incident that has occurred in Minneapolis as egregious as they do, and we agree with their assumption of everything that has occurred throughout that incident. So again, it's a show of support to them, and also I think at a greater scale supporting the messages that the tenets of procedural justice have been talked about for quite some time. And again, just as the mayor has spoken to, now is the time for action and to show what these words really mean when they're put into action. So again, although I won't get into specific numbers of officers and details and assignments, however, officers will be present and participating with the group that is forming this Friday.
I think the other point that I would make, these are, with the health pandemic and the need for us to carry on the dialogue with our community, they're challenging times to be able to do that in as effective a way as we would want to. But I can tell you from an action standpoint, as soon as we are able to bring people together in person to gather and discuss, that is our intent. We need to open up a dialogue like we've never done before, and we need to find a way to move the conversation in directions that it's never moved before, because enough is enough. But thank you all for being here today.